welcome back to another episode of our life seasons where we talk about the different seasons of life and how we grow through it. I'm your host Wen. If you've been loving the podcast episodes, do leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on and let me know which topics are your favorite. In today's episode, I'll be walking you guys through my 10 a.m. reset routine, and this routine has helped me to get back on track and prep me for a new week almost every other week. I'm a homebody, so this is pretty much how my weekends look like, and I love it. Of course, there will be weekends where I have plans with my friends or mostly my family members, and I don't do this every weekend, okay? But I try to do some sort of version of it when I can. So let me just start by saying that if you choose to get on to this reset routine, this is not a day to make plans with your friends or even family. I know some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, she's crazy. I can't do that. My weekends are reserved for my friends and family. I don't have time during the weekdays. Calm down. Hear me out, okay? I'm not saying that you have to do it every weekend. This just kind of acts as a guide, and I'm just telling you what works for me to go into a new week feeling good and well rested. If it's not something you feel like doing, or if it's not you, that's okay, okay? Tweak as you go. This is not a rule book. This is just a guideline. Like I always say, take what resonates, live what doesn't. The best routine or anything in life are the ones where you put your own twist to it and make it work for you. Not just following what someone says blindly, even when you feel like it's not quite you. And this goes for what I'm about to say, okay? I always tell you, you don't have to follow everything to the T. The fun part is when you create your own version of a reset routine that makes you feel good and also makes you feel like you're well rested after that, okay? Now, the reason why I want to get this out of the way before I dive deeper into the routine is because this routine is called a reset routine for a reason. I came up with this open inverted rule of not making plans with others when I'm on this routine is because I know that during the weekdays, we feel like we have to always be on the ball, and it may not be stressful, but it can be draining mentally, okay, at least for me, and energetically without me even knowing. So I know that it can be fun, making plans to go out during the weekends, to relax and enjoy yourself, but sometimes we don't see the importance of actually making it to a point where we spend time with ourselves and we go on to this autopilot mode of spending most of our time focusing on work or business on weekdays and look forward to spending time with your family and friends on weekends. Then the cycle just repeats, which is why you might find yourself dreading to go back to work on a Monday. The 2-day weekend will never be enough, or it never felt like it was enough, even though like maybe you have a longer holiday, right? Maybe public holiday falls on a Friday, for example. You will still feel like the holiday or the weekend is not enough, right? I'm sure most of you feel this way, and I feel you on that. I totally get that. I was the same as well, and that's why it made me wonder, like, how can I not dread going back to work on Monday? How can I not start a new week feeling sluggish? So there has to be a solution, right? It can't just be us dreading to go to work on Monday and just starting the week feeling so stressed out or feeling so sluggish. That is just not it, and I just don't vibe with that, okay? So like I said, everything is a choice, and that choice comes from your thoughts and actions. So if you're nodding and thinking, oh holy shit, like that's me, this routine, I swear it's perfect for you. I'm telling you, it changes life, okay? At least for me, it did. So you guys know I only share things that worked for me, and I've experimented with a lot of routines and found a sweet spot and perfected it before I share it with you guys. And let me tell you, this routine has really changed the way I start a new week. Like, I'm not even joking. I started feeling so much more energized and not actually dread going to work. Right? So believe me when I say this is not a routine that is ideal for you when you are making plans for the weekends, okay? This routine is one where you actually make plans for yourself. So remember how I emphasize on the importance of spending quality time with yourself and truly learning how to enjoy your own company in so many of my episodes. So to name a few, there's episode 6, I think 16, 20, and all my relationship series where I talked about, spending quality time with yourself, being able to enjoy your own company. This is very important, okay? And this routine actually helps with that. So I'm a huge believer of loving yourself before you can love anyone else, and whatever love that you expect from someone else, you can give that back to yourself, pouring the love back to yourself. So hence, this episode on reset routine, okay? Now that I got that out of the way, let me walk you through how my 10 a.m. reset routine actually looks like, and these are my non-negotiable habits, okay, that I will actually incorporate into my day-to-day as much as I can. I'll share how I make these habits work for my weekdays as well in just a bit. So No, it is not about waking up earlier than you already are. Okay, it's not about that. So it's called a 10 a.m. Reset routine for a reason. I start my day at 10 a.m. Yes, not 7 a.m., not 6 a.m., not 5 a.m., 10 a.m. or 9 a.m., whatever you feel like. Why 10? Because I have tried to force myself to get out of bed at 6 a.m. and whatever that is, I feel like it's too much. Okay, it's really just too much. Remember, like, the whole point of this routine is to reset and not restart. All right, so my body clock just happens to be 10 a.m. every weekend, so I wake up at whatever time that works for you. Okay, it might be like an 8 a.m. routine for you, or it might be at 11 a.m. Whatever that is, the time doesn't really matter. Okay, 10 a.m. is just a gauge. So this routine is not supposed to stress you out even more. Okay, it's supposed to allow you to take the time to really just feel into your intuition, tap into your intuition, and allow you to reset. All right, so here comes the first non-negotiable habit. You ready? It is to start your day without your phone. Okay, and this is important. I don't want you to be grabbing your phone and immediately looking at notifications or socials as soon as you wake up. No. So the day before, I usually like to set my phone on do not disturb or airplane mode so I don't get distracted and just get straight to brushing my teeth or whatnot when I wake up in the morning. Okay, so if you have that habit now of like scrolling through Instagram or just waking up and grabbing your phone immediately, I really recommend you try this even during the weekdays because it really helps. Ever since I've done it, I realized I'm actually much more creative and not as reactive anymore, which helps lower like my stress levels because I allow myself to ease into the day and be away from what's going on during my sleep on social media or just the notifications and stuff like that that's happening on my phone. Okay, so thinking about this now, you might have anxiety and questions like, what if something important happens? What if someone needs me urgently? What if XYZ? What if I need it for my alarm? Blah, 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 right? There's a lot of reasons why you feel a need to check your phone, okay? And those are valid reasons, but trust me, nothing is urgent or important if they don't come knocking at your door in the middle of the night. That's how I look at it. Nothing is important or urgent enough for me to know if no one comes banging on my door or no one comes to my house and just, creating a ruckus and whatever. Nothing is as important or urgent as that, all right? So this is us spiraling and thinking of the worst case scenario. It's a survival thing, trust me. We are so attached to our phones and socials that it got us to this reactive state to everything. So the more we should have this habit of not grabbing our phones immediately, be it it's like the FOMO habit kicking in or whatever that is, let it be, okay? And consciously remind yourself to spend some time with just your thoughts while you're getting ready for the day. Allow yourself to just sit there and take in whatever thoughts that you have, watch it just pass through your mind and really be conscious about what you're thinking on a day-to-day, what type of things you're telling yourself, and just appreciating the things that's around you is super important. And that has to happen without your phones being around you, okay? So after washing up, I like to start my day by working out or getting some movement in, and I like to pair this with a podcast. So if working out is not your thing, you can actually go for a walk or trek or even just get some movement in, right? Stretches or do something. Whatever that gets your heart pumping a little bit, get some fresh air in and feel alive. This whole point is for you to feel alive, for you to move your body, for you to just be excited, okay? So during this 15 minutes or 30 minutes or however long it takes for you to work out, I find that instead of listening to music, I replace it with a podcast or audiobook that I love, and that is usually on self-help or self-love topics. Duh. This ties back into the point of not using your phone immediately when you wake up, because during these first few minutes of us waking up, our mind and brain are very receptive to influence. So if let's say you start seeing like a ton of notifications from work or friends or whatever, you'll probably feel rattled and overwhelmed for hours because you feel like you have so much to get through and start being on your phone and answering emails or working, etc., right? And on the other hand, if you actually allow yourself to think of what you have and being grateful for it and just allowing yourself to wake up and just be in this gratitude mode and just take a look at the things around you, being more conscious about the things that's around you, it's really going to help you be in this positive energy, okay? So do you see what I'm trying to say? So you are actually already setting a stage for how your day is going to go. As soon as you wake up, whatever that you feed your mind and your brain, you are setting the stage for your day. And this is super important, okay? Not many know the power of our thoughts, and especially as soon as we wake up. And this is scientifically proven, all right? But anyways, that's why you want to start your day by receiving information that can actually help you pave the way to an exciting morning and a motivational one, of course, right? So put yourself in a good mood and in a creative zone. So who knows? You might have a business idea or project idea or even random thoughts from this podcast or books that just gets you so pumped up and get you to imagine like the possibilities of life. This is how you want to start your life. At least for me, this is how I want to start my day. Not my life, sorry. My day. You never know, but you also never go wrong with being in your creative zone. It will always benefit you and it's always a bonus. Because I'm sure you know by now that creative ideas don't always come knocking on your door. So you got to create a space for it to want to visit you, okay? If your mind, which is also, the home for creativity, is cluttered with all other thoughts, especially negative ones, why would creativity want to visit you, or why would ideas want to visit you? So yes, get some movement in while also taking care of your mind's health with some podcasts like Our Life Seasons. And please tag me in your stories if you do happen to be listening to Our Life Seasons while you're working out or washing the dishes or doing the laundry or walking your dog. Whatever that is, I always love seeing how OLS has been integrated into the different parts of your day. So I want to repost them, alright? So just please do tag me in, how OLS is being integrated into your life. I really, really, really want to tag them and I will always repost them. Anyways, next non-negotiable habit is skincare. This is not just your smack on some products on your face and call it skincare. No, okay? This is when you actually take the time, however long you need, even if it's just an hour or two, to show yourself some love. Shower yourself with love, literally. Don't keep track of how long you take in this process, because I don't want you to feel like there's a time limit and you're working on a schedule, okay? This is not the purpose of it. Just go with the flow. Because for me, sometimes I take like an hour, sometimes like I take 2 hours, sometimes I take 30 minutes. Whatever that I feel like doing that day for self-care, I would just do it, alright? So this reset routine is for you to take time off of the day to love yourself. Whatever that makes you feel good and loved. This time is for you and no one else, okay? For you. So take it. I always believe that we will never be able to find time for ourselves or feel like we don't have enough time for ourselves until we make it a point to actually put into our calendar or schedule a time specifically for self-care activities. And that is just how we are as humans, okay? We always prioritize something else over self-care over ourselves. So we naturally want to place others' needs first, and our needs are always kind of pushed back, right? And that is why it's required for you to take the conscious effort to pour the love back to yourself, to take the weekends or a day to just refuel yourself. And that can be an everything shower, right? Yes, that's the one that's trending on TikTok right now, the everything shower. So for those of you who don't know what an everything shower is basically a shower ritual that kind of covers everything from head to toe. So it can be like exfoliating your body and face, shaving, hair mask, face mask, soaking in a bathtub, whatever treatment that makes you feel happy. There is no rule to this. Again, you make the rules, okay? I usually like to exfoliate my body and face. And one of like my favorite body scrubs, the one that smells so damn good, is from E-soap or A-soap, however you pronounce it. As I think it's the Redemption body scrub that smells so damn good because of like the bamboo stem, the pine needle and sage leaf combination. It literally smells like I'm taking a bath in the rainforest. I'm not even joking. It's so therapeutic. So my skin feels so soft after, like literally feels like a baby's skin. I use it with an exfoliating glove. I love that stuff. Okay, I'm addicted to that stuff. I would also exfoliate my face while leaving my hair conditioner in, and sometimes shave and whatnot. So you can literally do anything that you want during this everything shower. Bonus here is, while you're doing it, and you can be in the shower or outside of the shower, I want you to practice speaking kindly and lovingly to yourself. Say words of affirmation that you actually mean, okay? If you find it pretentious or hard to do, instead of saying affirmations like, I'm beautiful the way I am, you can say, I may not be perfect, but I am trying my best to love myself. And that itself is enough. As long as you feel into your affirmations, you're good to go, okay? Your words are so powerful because it really affects your emotions. So don't say things that you don't mean or need to convince yourself to believe in. It's not going to work, okay? Try it out and watch how much your love for yourself grows over time. Alright, next up for non-negotiable habits, for my morning routine, we have one of my favorites. Okay, all of them are my favorites. That's why they're non-negotiables. But this one is meditating. Not even kidding, meditation has actually changed my life. Within the short span of 1.5 years, I've started getting into meditation when I was on my healing journey at the end of 2022. And I always thought that it seemed so small and insignificant. But oh boy, let me tell you, I was so wrong. It really do adds up. Now meditation is like a non-negotiable for me. So if you're thinking meditation is not my thing, it would never be, I'm not into the woo. Meditating is not the woo, okay? It's about quieting your mind. Try it out. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing changed, but I doubt that nothing would change, okay? If you give it time, you would see the change, a very significant one. There are so much benefits to meditating or from meditating, but just to name a few, it helps you to calm your nerves, which is great for people who are like me. If you have social anxiety, you know this. It helps you to tap into your inner peace and have clarity to make better decisions. And you'll find yourself feeling actually happier and being able to switch from being in a negative state to a positive state almost instantly, which helps your manifestations comes more easily, okay? So for me, I actually started seeing signs from the universe when I asked for it, and angel numbers all over the place. Like for those of you who know, angel number 44 is my angel number, and whenever I see it, and I've seen it like pretty often recently, and it just gives me a sense of peace and calm, knowing that, the universe is with me, I'm just being taken care of, I'm on the right track, etc. Okay, I do both guided and just background music depending on which one I feel like that day. Usually, if my mind is all over the place, I would opt for a guided one just so that it helps me to guide my thoughts better. So if you have not tried meditating before, it's gonna be tough for you to sit through a 10 minutes meditation. So I would say start slow, okay? Even if it's just a few minutes, it's good enough. There's this misconception that you have to do it for like an hour or 30 minutes for it to work. No, it doesn't have to be this long, okay? I mean, you can if you want to, but to be honest, if you're really starting out, it's very, very hard for you to sit there and just especially sit there for 30 minutes and 1 hour. I don't think you'll be able to do that because I wasn't able to do that. So start small and build up this habit. You won't regret it, okay? At the start, you will feel a lot of resistance, but it's like building habits. You got to build momentum. The more often you do it, the better you get at it, all right? So start from guided ones if you don't know what to think. At the start, 3 to 5 minutes is sufficient in raising your energy almost immediately. For example, if you're feeling very anxious or nervous, search for a guided meditation that helps you with grounding, okay? A YouTuber that I really, really, really love and listen to is Boho Beautiful Yoga. She does yoga, but also like she has a whole playlist of guided meditations that are really helpful, especially with a mantra that you can repeat in your mind during the meditation or throughout the day. So I'll link it below, and I know I'm throwing out names, but these are really people and brands that I love. It's not sponsored, okay? I just want to share what I found helpful and what I really love so that you guys as a community can check it out too. But most important, when it comes to choosing which ones to listen to, which brands or even which guided meditation that you want to listen to, it's very important for you to tap into your intuition and see which one kind of calls you. Okay, so that's very important. Of course, our live seasons has a version of my guided meditation to actually help you connect with your future self. It is episode, I think 26 if I'm not wrong. If you want to check it out, I would highly recommend giving this guided meditation a go for when you're feeling lost and you want to kind of go into deep relaxation to experience envisioning and meeting your future self, your environment, especially your dream home, and experience living out your dream life that has been made possible for you. And this guided meditation is 10 minutes. So I would say if you're not very used to meditating, don't listen to this first until you feel like you're ready and you want to kind of visualize how your dream life is like and be able to really bring yourself to walk through that entire experience. Then listen to this, okay? This is a meditation that I use myself and again have come up with because it really did help me to have a clearer vision of what I want my future to look like in the most lighthearted and fun way, and just sit in this abundance and joy. Like the most important part is actually to feel into that manifestation, okay? Feel as if it has already been in my reality. So try it out and let me know what you think. Also, if you have any requested like guided meditation topics, I'd love to record one and be able to help all of you. Alright. So what better way to ride the wave of calm and peace with another habit, which is journaling. This part is actually a requested part by Janelle and Joanne, and it's on how I actually usually journal. Because I know I remember posting a raw clip of me just talking about my journaling journey, and you guys have been asking me how I actually do it. Like, do I have an app that recommends and whatnot? So this part is for you guys, okay? I wouldn't say that I have a template or strict method and guide for journaling because I believe that for journaling, it's actually better to just brain dump everything down. Let yourself be free and write down everything and anything, regardless of like grammatical errors, past tense, present tense, doesn't really matter to me. Fun fact is that my mind just goes so fast that I start to scribble to a point where I won't be able to read my own handwriting at the end of the day. But yeah, I just let myself flow, okay? Just write whatever that's in your mind. I know some people say that, to try to keep it positive and all, but I don't see how that is beneficial. So I literally write down everything I feel, the good and the bad. But one rule that I do have though is that I always start my journal with, "Dear universe, I am thankful for." And then end it with, "I know you'll always be by my side and I'm your favorite child. I trust that you will," whatever, okay? So this is a hard rule I usually follow because there will be times where I'm just so upset about something and I want to get it sorted out by journaling. But I also want to make sure that I'm not allowing myself to just spiral and end up feeling worse or not having a clear mind. So that is why this guideline actually helps me to start with, this gratitude towards life, towards what I already have in life, which also sends a signal to the universe that I want more of it before I start working through my emotions, and then end off with assurance for myself that no matter what happens, no matter what I'm feeling right now, I trust that the universe is gonna take care of me and give me everything that I ever desire because I deserve it. So this ends it on a good note, okay? So in between of what I journal is really up to what I feel that day or think about that day. I don't censor myself. I don't try to catch myself. I just let it flow and feel. This is like the best way to actually let yourself be free, feel your emotions, and work through your emotions with yourself, okay? One thing to note is that you should be coming out of the journaling session feeling relieved and fulfilled, not upset or any negative emotions. You don't necessarily have to find a solution to every problem, but it is important for you to know when to let go and surrender, okay? So when I journal about the challenges that I face in life or any negative emotions that I am experiencing, I would always ask myself, what is it that I can learn from? What is the universe trying to teach me or tell me? Remember, everything that happens in our life, there has to be a reason, even if you might not understand it right now or see it at the start, but trust that the universe will only put you in situations that you are capable of handling. You have what it takes to just handle it and to just go through it, okay? It takes you to just see it. When you direct your thoughts in a way that works for you, it really do feel better after journaling. You seek clarity from it. And I'm not saying that this is easy, because it is not. It took me a lot of proactive and self-awareness to get to where I am today. So don't beat yourself up if you find it hard. Just let your emotions flow. And also remind yourself to see the silver lining and to affirm yourself that everything happens the way it needs to. And sometimes it may not be in a way that you want it to, but always trust that the universe has got your back. And that is why I always end my entries on a note to myself that I fully trust the universe and I allow the universe to take over. I surrender. So it's important to be honest with yourself and take it as this is a chance for you to connect with your inner child, or even have like a conversation with the universe. That is how I do it most of the time, at least. That's why I start with Dear Universe. So setting the tone to your journal entry is very, very important, okay? I make sure to always journal from a place of love, even on days where I don't feel like my best. I would journal to seek clarity and not treat it as a channel for me to rant, okay? Your journal is not a place for you to rant and just spiral and just turn into this anger and resentment. No, your intentions while journaling is super important. So set your intentions and you will reap the outcome from the journaling session, which is a very positive note, okay? But with that said, it's not that this is not the only way to do it. Depending on the seasons of your life and what you want to seek clarity on, you could also take this as a chance to script or manifest. I do that sometimes, and honestly, it feels so good. So for manifestation, same thing. I would not restrict myself or even question myself. I would not think of whether it's possible or whether it's realistic, because usually what we deem as possible or realistic is based on what we see in our current reality now, which is from the mindset and stories that we have been holding on to, which may not necessarily be the best, okay? So that's the whole part of manifestation, is to think of the possibilities and feel into the emotions. I talked about this in episode 22. The secret to manifestation is to act as if, or what I like to call, feel as if. Tap into the emotions of what you already have, as if like you already have it, and how life looks like for you on the day-to-day basis. Being as detailed as you can and feel like you already have it. It is here, it is done. No wishing, no hoping, no wondering, it is done. Point blank, period. Okay? Some of you ask if, I have any journaling apps to recommend. I actually do not use any of them because I just personally don't like it. I like to just go with the flow with my good old book and pen and paper. So I can't recommend any, but I'm sure there are tons of creators out there who have good recommendations. However, if you are in our Life Seasons Inner Circle, you will find journal prompts resources that can get you started. So yeah, there you go. I have a whole resource stash on that, okay? So moving on the list, we have reading. I like to do this with breakfast. I think it's self-explanatory. One of the most important habits I think everyone should have is really reading. Be it an audiobook or physical book or Kindle, doesn't matter as long as you're reading for at least 10 minutes a day. Pick whatever book that you like, preferably something that is on self-help and wellness category, something that I prefer. So this is a habit that changed my life, and ever since I started it like 2 to 3 years ago, I never gone back, okay? I get asked a lot from my family and friends, and some of you even asking me how do I get topic ideas for OLS, or how do I even have all this knowledge and mindset that I have. The secret is not secret anymore, okay? It is from reading and listening to podcasts. And all this knowledge will stick to you. It takes some time, but it's definitely worth it. I used to be someone that doesn't feel like I have much knowledge on a lot of things, and it affected my confidence. And where I am now, wow, it's such a huge difference. You don't understand how reading has actually helped me so much in my confidence, and in a way that no one has actually ever imagined it to be, even for myself. Because of how much I consume in a day, I learn to expand my mind to see things from a different perspective, and I can hold intellectual conversations quite well, I would say, and this does not happen overnight. So give yourself some time, give yourself some grace, allow yourself to just read and keep challenging yourself, okay? One thing I need you to know is that when you consume, be it a podcast or books or anything, especially on social media, do not just listen to it. I want you to think, question, ask yourself, what's your personal take on this? If you agree, what is it that you agree with? Can you give your own personal example or experience to it? If you disagree, why? And come up with an alternative statement or thought. This is something that I train myself to do. So now I'm able to see things from different perspectives, and I just keep pushing like myself beyond my abilities, okay? So think, and think. Push yourself beyond just consuming and not questioning, because not everything someone says is correct, okay? Not everything I say is correct. It may be correct to me, but not to others, not to you, right? Don't agree just because it's the majority's concept. Challenging the stereotype when it's necessary. I think by now you guys should know that I'm someone that likes to speak the honest truth, at least the truth to me. I don't just listen to podcasts, tell you guys what I think or what the majority thinks, because honestly that's boring. I always say it from my point of view. I always give you guys examples of what I'm going through or the things that I've experienced to support this mindset that I have. And of course, I'm always open to having debates with you guys, or open to having to see like your perspective on things. And you guys would know it from the comments. Like, I really do appreciate people who challenge my point of view, my perspective, because I love conversations like that. I really do. I'm very passionate about the things that I say, but at the same time, I also understand that everyone has different perspective. Everyone is entitled to having their own opinions, and that is okay, all right? So there's no right or wrong or one way of doing things, and that is why I realized from reading so many books from different authors and genres, from productivity to finance to psychology, there's just so many different like opinions out there, and it's amazing. It's the way life is, and it's also the reason why it's so interesting. Like, the psychological part is so interesting because everyone is just so different, right? So expand beyond what you always think is correct or what people tell you is correct, okay? Always venture and always be curious. Don't be afraid to have a different opinion and tell people about it, because that's like the most respectful thing that you can actually do, to me at least. What I learned from reading and speaking up on my opinion is that not everything you say may be right? Like I mentioned, which is why you learn to respect other people's opinion as well, and have empathy and understand where they are coming from, and be able to have like this healthy debate and be able to agree to disagree. So conversations like that, again, are my favorite. So feel free to challenge me on my opinion or to let me know your perspective. If you have a different perspective, I would love to know it, okay? If you are new to reading, I would say start off with Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. This is one of my all-time favorite books. I usually don't reread books, but this one, I do. I really do love rereading it. It's so good, and this is actually my first self-help book that, yeah, I just love it, okay? If you have not read it, please do. It's about mastering your mindset and take back control of your life. So another one of my favorite is from the author of Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic. This book is on creative living, embracing like our curiosities and let go of needless sufferings to live a fulfilled life. You don't have to be a creative, like, you know, an artist or just like a designer or whatever. You don't have to be all this to read this book. It applies to everyone from every profession. Okay, I love. Now, the last book that I can recommend is Into the Magic Shop by James R. Doty, who is a neurosurgeon, which is very interesting, that talks about the power of mindfulness and how it has actually helped him to go from living life without hope to finding a new future from a woman who actually taught him how to think with practical tips from like meditation and visualization techniques, which is super amazing. So these 3 books I would say are the books that I would recommend to anyone who's just starting out. So let me recap: Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, The Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and then the last one, The Magic Shop by James R. Doty. Okay, so these 3 are really amazing. I will link all the links to the book below. Alright, so these are my top 3 like really must read books. I love them. I want to point out that you could also start combining activities together, like working out with podcasts, reading with breakfast, and this is a technique that I have read, in Tony Robbins' book that I just mentioned, Awaken the Giant Within. He talks about combining 2 activities to increase your motivation to do unpleasant tasks and improve your overall time management, which is super helpful. Okay, so you can think of ways in which you can combine tasks together, especially those that you dread but know is necessary for you to do, so you won't procrastinate. Okay, combine it with something that you truly love to do. So after getting movement in, meditating, journaling, and reading, it is time to officially start your day. I know it may sound like a draggy routine, but it is a very much needed one. Okay, trust me, it's about resetting, and it's important for you to enjoy doing all of this. Last non-negotiable habit on the list is plan out your day, your to-do list. Note that this one only comes at the end after all your other non-negotiable habits before you start your day, because it's important to start your day right and get yourself in the zone. So for our Life Seasons Inner Circle, you guys should have received a template of a planner that I actually use, not taken from somewhere else, but something that I really actually use on a day-to-day basis to organize my day. So for those of you who are not on OLS Inner Circle, join us. The link is below, and you'll get spoiled with like the whole OLS resources and future like exclusive resources like this. Okay, I'm telling you, I really do spoil the circle, so get on it. It's free anyways, and I don't spam. Only 2 emails in a week, a new resource drop at the start of the week, and an early release of the week's podcast episodes towards the end of the week. So yeah, it's only just 2 emails. Okay, I would love for you to be on it. Anyways, this part or this habit is actually pretty simple for me. Depending on what time it is after I've done everything, I either keep it light or I just kind of like make it a productive day, in a sense, a light and productive day. So if I were to choose to keep it light, it's basically just me chilling, like baking, or just watching Netflix and chill, or just reading. And then if I have a little bit of time and I want to make it productive, or I feel like so creative and productive for that day, I would actually work on OLS or AHE stuff, like content. So I'll plan out accordingly to how I feel for that week. Okay, I don't want you to feel a need to be productive, because this is not what this routine is about. I know sometimes it can feel like, since it's such a structured day, you need to be productive. This is not what the routine is about. Okay, and I repeat, if you look closely, this routine is somewhat structured, but it also gives you the time and space to go with the flow. Like what type of self-care routine you want to have, whether it's a full-blown one or just keeping it light, whatever that is, it's up to you. The whole purpose is for you to unwind from your week and make sure you are actually well rested and reset for the new week. So it's not meant to be stressful and feel like any other weekend or weekday. Okay, no. Feel free to also add in any activities in between that you love to do. There is no fixed way of planning your day. You choose how you want to plan your day. Okay, you can choose to not plan and just follow your intuition and do whatever. That's totally up to you. No pressure. I have to emphasize, you don't have to work, and please don't, unless you are like me and your work technically is your passion, like how OLS is my passion, and I love doing this open inverter work, which I don't consider work at all, honestly. And that can be like crocheting for you, or cooking for you, or drawing for you, whatever that makes you feel happy. Okay, but with that said, there are still days that I just want to relax and do nothing and allow myself to just do that. This is time for you to give yourself some grace and tell yourself that it's okay to just relax, to just chill, to just watch drama the whole entire day. That's fine. Listen to your body and what it is telling you. Always tap into your intuition to make decisions. If you have a hectic week, please use this time to do nothing. Okay, this is your do nothing day. Don't feel bad for it, because you already set an intention to unwind, and you are a human at the end of the day. Even robots shut down when they are overstimulated. Okay, you're human after all. So please give yourself some time to rest. Give yourself grace and pace yourself before a huge burnout and feeling overwhelmed, and if you're at that stage already, no worries. Head back to last week's episode 44, on how to get out of it and make it a point to implement this routine into your weekend, because at this point, it's a need for you to actually have this reset routine. Okay, it will be good for you if you're actually feeling overwhelmed right now. Alright, as promised, before I end, and I always end with something beneficial for you guys, I want to share how all these habits can be incorporated into your weekday, since it's a non-negotiable. And I get that, like, for those of you who have a 9 to 5 job like me, you would not have the luxury of waking up at 10 a.m. and go through this routine, right? I know that all too well. So, here's how I do it. If you're expecting me to say like, oh, wake up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or earlier than your weekday routine, sorry to disappoint you. It's not that, okay? I think this is the good news too. Remember the combining two activities technique that I talked about just now? This is how I do it. I would wake up the same time that I usually do. And because my commute to work is about 1.5 hours daily, I would use this time to do majority of the routine, but just shorten the time frame, which is fine, right? Because doing it is better than not doing it at all. I would wake up and of course my phone will be on do not disturb mode, so I don't get notifications. I will get ready, and as soon as I leave home, I will put on my morning meditation music while I walk to the station. I would verbalize in my head what I'm thankful for, how my day is going to be like, how I want it to be like, and this is all part of the meditation part, okay? I like to call it a walking meditation. It does not have to be a sit down with your eyes closed session, okay? Again, you get to set the rules, and this is the rule that I set for myself. And you can do it and switch it up in so many different ways. Get creative. This is how I do it, because it caters to actually my commute time and the nature of my week, so that meditation is done, and by the time I reach the station, and this is how I like to split my time, okay? I would use the first half of the time to read on my mobile Kindle, and then the second half to actually journal in the Notion app, because I have a digital journal page in my Notion mobile app for when I want to journal as I go, and I don't want to bring my journal book around with me. So you can do it if you want, but it's just not me. So now, we're left with working out, right? Here's what I do. Since I don't want to wake up earlier than usual, I would leave it for after work. When I get home, I would change into my workout clothes immediately and start working out. And with that, I've covered all like the non-negotiable habits, just in a different sequence and a different time zone, which is totally fine. Because I was at one point where I tried to wake up early, try to do it as how it's gonna be, like the whole sequence of it. It killed me. Like, I was so drained and more drained than ever, and I felt like my weekends, I just feel like sleeping in and not doing anything. Okay, and then I'll beat myself up for not being productive, this and that, blah, blah. It's just a whole cycle. So that's why I mentioned it's very important for you to find something that sticks to you, find something that works for you, okay? You don't have to follow everyone. So you can see how everything can be made possible if you stop complaining about everything, or even about not having enough time, and start using the time to think of solutions and be creative about it. If you have watched or listened to episode 3, you know that I don't believe in this statement of I don't have enough time. That is bullish to me, okay? Everyone has enough time. Yes, even moms. I've seen moms who are entrepreneurs, who have a job, and still be able to find pockets of time for themselves. It really boils down to what you choose to prioritize. Fight me on this all you want, get upset, but I know that the time you spend laying in bed scrolling through socials can be for your meditation or journaling or doing something that actually contributes to your mental wellness. So if this is your excuse, please really just listen to episode 3, okay? I always believe that humans become more creative and are problem solvers when we are pushed to the edge, or when we have no choice. But why do we have to wait for that to kick in? Why can't we just do it and make our lives simpler and happier from the start? So that's all for today's episode. I hope you found this helpful, and I've linked everything that I've mentioned in this episode, the books, the products, below, okay? So if you have any burning questions or topics that you want me to cover, you know it, please drop me a DM on Instagram at our live seasons, or comment on whichever platform that you're on, that you're listening to, so I can get back to you. I'll see you in the next one.